Where did this place come from?
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
Like an avalanche, I was overwhelmed by fear and sadness that night when I found out about Mandela Effect. I knew I remember him dying in prison many years ago, as well as I know the Volvo logo never had an arrow because my dad always had Volvos since I was a kid. Then, ask your dad, you're thinking? Well, I am very open-minded or awake, and my father is most certainly not. Between you and me, he's proud and stubborn. So my dad remembers it as it is now and always have been. Not in my world. These things I noticed but didn't pay attention to until I realized that it was not something I just remembered incorrect, since many other people distinguishedly remember the same details. Some of these details has even been cult labeled and known by millions of people. Yet, here people remember it being one single way. The wrong way to me. Until this day, I've continued to confirm incredible changes around me, but I no longer fear them, for I am constantly changing and in movement. The force of nature, or even the circle of life if you so will, is in constant movement. The real evolution occurs on our inside, in our souls. I do not know why or how it is happening, since there are several different possible explanations. I only have theories, but I tend not to dwell too much on things I cannot possibly confirm on my own. But what I do know is that it is happening, and I'm not the only one aware of this, and I really do think it is possible for you to have your eyes open to see as well. I will show you proof of incredible changes. Some of them will be small and some major, but they all have one thing in common. They are often, but not always, unlogical. It's like they are missing the spin-off or the more valuable outsticking original. What I'm trying to say is that they seem lazy or like they leveled down a notch. I will let you know what I mean. The whole idea with these fancy intros that I made into several sections is for you to think about all of this that you have just now seen and are now listening to, as we go further down the rabbit hole. May God let you see. Hey guys, Libertas here. Thank you for sticking around. I know you're curious about what are the changes, especially the major changes I was talking about. And as always, I will leave the links, every link to everything I have in this video, since I don't take credit for anything of it. I just want to show you things. So I will start off with minor changes, like this movie, for example. It will not be possible for me to prove it to you, but as I said, these are minor changes, and as always, I will show you proof of changes that this Mandela Effect is totally real, and I will go on explaining how it is not true, although it's real. Okay, so I found this on my own as I remembered this movie, Happiness, a film by Todd Solondz with Philip Seymour Hoffman. It came out 1998. Since I didn't understand the movie that much, I was not that old. My friend, on the other hand, he kind of loved this movie and talked about it, and so when I got to see it, the covers stick to my mind. I remember some scenes, but anyway, the name of the movie and the cover, I remember it clearly. I remember like looking at it like yesterday. Okay, it's so clear in my head. And as you can see, between the upper text and Happiness is a huge gap. It's quite ironic that they left that gap right there. And then you have no gap at all between Happiness and a film by Todd Solondz. So I remember it, and it fits so well. The Pursuit of Happiness. See it? That is the correct name and cover of this movie. So it's called Happiness. And here we have a movie called The Pursuit of Happiness. Okay, they don't spell happiness the same way, because if you see the movie, that's how the kid spelled happiness. So they used that. But you know, they could not have The Pursuit of Happiness and Pursuit of Happiness. So in this realm, happiness is the word of this movie, but I remember it being The Pursuit of Happiness. Can't prove that, but you see it fits. Okay, let's go on with number 2. John Goodman. Wow, I love this man. He played a role in the movie The Flintstones, and that came out, I'm not exactly sure, 94 or 97, I don't know, somewhere there. I watched that movie so many times. I loved that movie. I loved Fred, John Goodman. He really made a mark from that movie, and then I saw him in some other work he did. However, around 10 years ago, I remember this very well too. The media, not the social media, the media everywhere announced his death. That John Goodman, at the age of 50 something, I think it was 52 actually, but yeah, that John Goodman had a heart attack and died. And I think they even kind of related it to he being sick and big at that time. You can see he's gone. He's lost some pretty heavy weight there. Okay, but no, he's not dead. he lives on, and you know, to tell him that he died. He never died. Not here. Not in this perception of things. But I remember him doing so. So I don't know. Maybe you do too. Let me know in the captions, comments. You all remember this clip, guaranteed. I will let this clip from another channel play. As I said, I would use help from other people that found other Mandela effects and also made good videos on their own. So I am gonna let this play out, and yeah, let me know what you think about this.
Hello everybody, welcome to Matrix World for Real. Looking for the next Mandela Effect? It's right here, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Remember his "I'll be back"? So deep, so long, so unrecognizable as even English. This is what made him famous. Let me know what you remember. Listen carefully. He can clearly say the words, "I'll be back."
I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be back.
Well, what did you think? And in this video, is it just a coincidence that he's mentioning dimensional portal changes?
Outside. I mean, it still comes in as this fierce machine that is ready to destruct anything, you know, and or to destroy anything. And then, as time goes on, there are other dimensions. He becomes humanized. So
And in this interview, Arnold is clearly admitting that his voice accent was so thick and unrecognizable, it was the only thing that made him famous.
I felt, well, if this is the case, then maybe that I can use all those things and become unique. And maybe it's better to be unique because people then will remember you much more rather than being one of millions out there. And then later on, people came to me and said exactly the opposite. When I remember after the Conan movies and when I did Commando and Terminator, people came to me and said, you know, this Terminator movie would have never worked if you wouldn't have had that accent because you sounded like a robot. The Conan movies never would have worked if you wouldn't have had an accent or the body. And then the name Schwarzenegger, I mean, after people remember the name, they would never be able to forget it. What an asset.
The Terminator, you almost ruined the signature line. I'll be back. What's that about?
Well, it was, I could not pronounce really well this "I'll," so I just kept saying to Jim Cameron, maybe I should just say "I will be back." I said, it sounds more like a machine. I will be back. And he says, no. He says, look, I don't tell you how to act. Don't tell me how to write. I wrote the line, "I'll be back." So why don't you just say it this way? I said, but it sounds really weird when I say it with my German accent. He says, I don't care. He says, let's just say 10 different ways, and then one will work. And so that's what we ended up doing. And then when the movie came out, I remember I was here in New York for the promotion, and I walked down on Park Avenue, and this one fan came up, and he said, say it. And I said, say what? And he says, say the line, "I'll be back." And I said, "I'll be back." He said, no, the way you said it in the movie. And I said, "I'll be back." I said, yeah.
No. He did not say, "I'll be back." He said, "I'll be back." Back. Okay, let's leave Arnold there and head over to Volkswagen logo. This is the logo I remember Volkswagen being. And I will, again, borrow a video from another one that I also mirrored on my YouTube channel, because I think this is a very good example, and he shows it, he proves it. Okay, let's go on with this one.
But I ran across an interesting one the other day, which I am personally acquainted with, which is this logo right here, which I'm sure 99% of you recognize as the Volkswagen logo. Now, I ran across a video, oddly, on the Mandela Effect and the Volkswagen logo, and I couldn't believe that that was even a thing, because everybody knows what the Volkswagen logo looks like, right? But sure enough, if you go to Reddit, there's several topics on the Volkswagen logo and how it's changed. Again, this is a logo that I know, and this is a logo that probably most of you know. Yet, according to Volkswagen, these are the only known logos according to Volkswagen, the car manufacturer itself. And in case you're missing it, the biggest deal is that in the center of the Volkswagen logo, there is a separating line separating the V from the W. Now, I've never seen that in my life, and I could swear it's never been there. But once again, the Mandela Effect takes effect, and according to Volkswagen, these are the known logos. Only. There are no variations other than these. And you'll notice right in the center, separating the V from the W, is a white line, or a separation of color anyway. So it's not one solid piece. So just hang in there for a few minutes because this is going to get strange. Now, one would think this would be a very easy phenomenon to prove or disprove because basically all we have to do is find a logo from Volkswagen that shows either the line being there or the line not being there. And if you're going to try and find the line not being there, meaning the one solid piece, you probably want to find one from, the 1970s, early 1980s, right? That would make the most sense. The problem with doing this, however, is that there are literally hundreds of thousands of images you have to go through. Plus, you also have to find images that are pre-2011 to kind of really get a good scientific image, right? Because after that is when Mandela Effect really started taking hold. So we have to find something that's from an earlier date and of sufficient quality to see the line being there or not being there. And again, just to refresh your memory, this is the image that 60 to 70% of the people recall being the Volkswagen logo, although that there are so many people that just argue the other way, 30% of the people that is, that insist that there's always been a line separating the V and the W, which would be these. Okay, easy enough, right? So I first went out and started searching images one by one by one by one. And here's a 1952, but obviously we can see that there's a line in between the V and W on this one. And I can continue on for hours because I went through hundreds of images and they all appear to have that separation of the V and the W. So maybe I just had it wrong. I mean, basically, no matter what year I looked up, I came up with the same results. I came up with a separated V from a separated W. And on it went. Until that is, I stumbled upon this 1966 Volkswagen Beetle. So like before, I started zooming in until I couldn't zoom in anymore. But what I noticed was something extremely odd. Right in the middle, which appeared to be the first image I was able to find of a V and a W as one solid piece. If you look right in the center, it looks like the center where the line would be or not be is sort of smudged, which is kind of a weird artifact to have right in an area of where you're trying to prove something exists or doesn't exist. I mean, so was this the anomaly, or was the anomaly that there's just something else going on? I continued my searching and then stumbled upon this. Okay, so what you're saying? It's a commercial, but it's a commercial from the 1950s, maybe early 60s. And what do we know about that time? Well, we can tell for one thing that the logo that we're looking at in the commercial is somewhere between the 1939 logo and the 1967 logo. But the other thing too is that I don't think that effect of the zoom in of the logo really existed in the 1950 to 1960 time frame. So I'm not sure if we're looking at a superimposed logo that put in afterwards, or if it's just some type of new logo that they threw in there at some point without making it an official logo. And so why does any of this matter at all? Well, basically because a large population is being told they're nuts for thinking that this logo actually existed when we know it did, but yet nothing seems to point to it when you look at any official Volkswagen literature. But what that did do was help me switch up the way I was searching for the Volkswagen logo. Instead of searching by images, now I started searching by campaign advertisements. And now all of a sudden, the search results were coming back with things that were resembling much more closely the logo that is of the solid type. The first one being the Our Car, the Movie Star campaign. And what they're referring to here is the Volkswagen Beetle was featured in Walt Disney Studios' The Love Bug. But unfortunately, this ad wasn't good enough to really pull up the logo clear enough, so I couldn't really still tell if that was one solid design in the logo itself or not. I was able to find another one, and I pulled it up, and I drew out the contrast a little bit, and it does start now to appear like one solid image versus a V over a W with a line through the middle. But at least now I knew roughly the time frame I'm looking for, and I'm also looking for an original VW hubcap or something with an original logo on it that wouldn't be replaced with an aftermarket or a possibly switched logo with a aftermarket piece. And trust me when I tell you, it's not easy to find these images. You can go and go and go, but you're still going to run into these obstacles of the images just not being clear enough, even though this is now pretty clear that it's one solid design versus the V over the W. So I figured, let me just keep going down the advertising path because that seemed to have the best chances for a hit. And there it was in 1973, the Volkswagen station wagon. Not only once, but twice. And in several other pictures thereafter, once I knew what I was looking for, I was able to find the solid Volkswagen logo. And while not the most super resolution image, it is still very clear that it is one solid piece. It's not a V with a W underneath it with a line separating. It is one solid piece. Now, if you've stuck around this long, this is where it gets strange. I promise you something would get strange. It always does. So when you research long enough, you're going to run into things that just you weren't expecting. And here we go. So let's take a look back at Snopes. And Snopes, for my own personal opinion, I just think that they're a psyop type site. I don't tend to believe anything that they write is accurate, and here's why. Now, Snopes is basically, I guess, what you would call the anti-conspiracy site. In fact, that's why Facebook and others are using them as fact checkers, because they think that Snopes is accurate, and they are always on the side of anti-conspiracy theory. And in fact, the highlighted section down here is where, they, in their backhanded way of saying it, they're calling conspiracy theorists, it enters into woo-woo territory. What that's supposed to mean exactly, I don't know, but I'm about to show you where it's not woo-woo territory. Now, Snopes goes on further saying, the glitch is in your memory, not the matrix. They're insisting that anybody that believes in the Mandela Effect basically has their memories not correct, okay? That's what they're trying to tell you, that it's human memory distorting facts. I just showed you now, fact. Volkswagen did in fact use that logo, which was of the solid design, not with the line in the middle, like Volkswagen's trying to tell people, and that the people on the other side that are debating, people that are insisting that it was one solid piece, they're all saying, no, it always had that line in the middle. Well, no, it always did not. It clearly did not, because I just showed you two perfect examples where it did not. And while there may be some confusion on this line in the movie,
Luke, I am your father.
In 2011, Volkswagen did this. What do you think of that?
Yeah, it was me doing the Luke, I am your father voice, because that's how I remember it too. I will go on and putting together two other videos about the Statue of Liberty, which had, this one had a major change, and you will you will see the truth. I hope you do. I pray that you do, that God will open your eyes to see this. I will collaborate more on that. Let's watch this.
Hey, do you remember the Statue of Liberty being attacked in 1916? Because that never happened on my timeline whatsoever. On my timeline, the only attacks on US soil were Pearl Harbor and 9/11. But on your timeline, there's Pearl Harbor, the Japanese killed a lady and some kids in Oregon during World War II, the Statue of Liberty was attacked, and of course 9/11 happened as well, but slightly differently, but I'll make a different video on that for sure. So, this is really crazy. This is the absolute first I am ever finding out about this. This is completely new news to me, because on my timeline, like I said, it never got attacked, and you were allowed to go up into the crown and up into the torch, and I knew people that did that, and on this timeline you're not allowed to. Why can't you go up to the Statue of Liberty's torch? Why can't you do it? Why can't you do it? And they're saying, well, since it was attacked in 1916, it's not structurally safe enough for you to go up into the torch. But I have a friend called Ray who went up there in the 80s with his kids, and they took photographs, like outside of the torch and the crown. And of course, like, those photographs don't exist here, because here the statue was attacked, and I can't imagine that that residue survived. Hey, I can call up Ray and see if it did survive, but I'm very thrown. I didn't get to go up to the torch because when I visited the Statue of Liberty, it was already closed for the evening. I'd gotten there pretty late. But the interesting thing about that is when I went and visited the Statue of Liberty on my timeline, it was in New York. Your Statue of Liberty is in New Jersey. Do you know that? Yeah. Your Statue of Liberty is on the New Jersey, the New Jersey side, and it's not on Ellis Island either. It's on its own island called Liberty Island. So Ellis Island used to be on the New York side, and Governor's Island used to be really, really small. But now everything has moved around. New York has completely moved around. For anyone from the old timeline, it's really confusing. And it's really disappointing. Nobody got to go up to the torch. They don't let do they even let the public inside at all anymore? Or is it just another... I bet there's people watching this who have gone up, who have gone to New York, who have gone up into the torch and up into the crown and looked out of the windows up here. I'm sure some of you remember doing this because it used to be a real big thing. I mean, in the 90s, after 9/11, of course, things changed, but before that happened, people used to love going up into the Statue of Liberty and taking photographs. And I was hoping if I showed some of the rare photographs of there we go, of the ladder that you would go up to get into the torch, that might jog some people's memories. It says rare photographs of the torch and the way up into the torch. So I can't believe this happened to you guys. I'm sorry that is that her foot? I'm sorry that this happened and that you seem to be having more trouble with the statue and with New York in general. There's the inside of her face. That's very interesting stuff. Like I said, I regret that I didn't get to go up because it showed up too late in the day and it was already closed. So I got to stand around by her feet and feed some extremely obese looking pigeons and seagulls, alcatrazes. But I never got to go up like Ray did, so I would love to know. What history of the Statue of Liberty do you remember? Because this is an entirely different history to me, to the point where I have no idea who even tried to attack it. Like, where is it gone now? Like, did I ever catch the person that did it? The Black Tom Munitions Depot. Hold up. New Jersey City, New Jersey was an act of sabotage by German agents. What? What? Germany getting up in there and changing history? Sounds weird. It's like a Pearl Harbor thing to try and get America involved in the war. Is that it? No, because 16? Gosh, it's too early. What the... The dates are not right. This doesn't make any sense to me. I'm gonna have to do some serious investigations into this because it doesn't fit, like, the history that I know. I'll leave it at that. Okay, talk to you guys soon.
This next video didn't have any audio to it, so I will play the music and I will read what's being said here. So this investigation began with a Crocodile Dundee 2 movie still that someone posted and said that they did not recall the statue being so close to the Twin Towers. Next, Joshua apparently recalls the statue on Ellis Island in his history, Blog states that sights from the boat include Love of Manhattan and the Statue of Liberty, 2012. This is the current timeline. The statue is located on Liberty Island as of today, March 7, 2017. Notice the distance to the towers. It's much, much further away. The Lone Freedom Towers is located where the towers were before. People who find this location of the statue off recall the statue on Liberty Island, their history. It's not possible for me to read all the text the way I am doing this, but here you will have lots of people that have geotagged them and hashtagged that they are on Ellis Island looking at Statue of Liberty. Do you see this? A bunch of people taking photos of the sky on Ellis Island where they are saying geotagging Statue of Liberty, because I remember it too being on Ellis Island near New York. See, he personally screenshot this from Facebook groups which had nothing to do with Mandela Effect topic. It's just people wondering, why are there images on Facebook where Statue of Liberty should be, where they remember them being taken the photo of them and the Statue of Liberty? Why is it gone? Why is it not there? Why is it in New Jersey on Liberty Island? You know, you should just, these images look so, you wouldn't just stand there watch, like in my reality they were very close there to Statue of Liberty. This is not everything. I mean, those pictures, yeah, you could go on and say they are Photoshop, but you can't just be dismissive about everything that's strange or odd to you, because the truth is out there. Changes are taking place. Yeah, I'm not gonna go and read all of them. You can do that. Pause and read if you want to. Here is where things go quite interesting. Yeah, this is where we go, where things get a little bit interesting. You need a confirmation rather than their own geotagging, you know, because it could just be them fooling around or whatever you want to say. But this that will come now, yeah, yeah, you can't explain that away. Another FB group member posted a plague on her grandmother's wall. She had made a donation. Notice the immigration museum in the back of the statue here. The immigration museum is located on Ellis Island now, but what is not there now? The statue. The statue is not there in front of the museum as it showed on that diploma right there, or whoa. it used to be there, and it's not. Yeah, you already seen this. Yeah, people are not allowed there anymore. And although I never was there on my own, never been to the United States even, but from everything I've learned and heard and seen about the Statue of Liberty, that was the case. Okay, let's move on, shall we? This is minor, major, medium, whatever. It's a little quick one. Just in case you didn't know that Canberra is the capital city of Australia. You know, when I found out that Canberra is Australia's capital city, this was 4 weeks ago maybe. When I found that out, I laughed out so loud, and I had to check the word Canberra 3 times because I could not remember what was the name of this capital that has been the capital for such a long time. Why did I not know this? Because where I come from, or where I were, or whatever has happened, Sydney was the capital city. Sydney is most suitable for that. And when you search for Australia's capital city, you will see images of what? On the search, Sydney and or other biggest cities turn up more than Canberra. So this is not very noticeable, but just wait to the next one and you will see it's more noticeable. You know, I mentioned the level down at the beginning, that it seems like these Mandela effects are being leveled down some notch. Like Statue of Liberty just changing like that, and when Ellis Island still have the pedestal and everything, the museum for it, so it just changed and leveled down and became on its own on Liberty Island. And the Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator quote there, it just sounded like anyone would have said "I'll be back," rather than his very, very original voice, you know, that he had at least. And the same goes with Pursuit of Happiness, which show the gap. So I will read this for you, and I will show you that this too leveled down a notch. Is Rio de Janeiro the capital of Brazil? No, but it used to be. Due to national security reasons, move the political center away from the shore, as well as to centralize the capital and to, some say, keep mass movements and political participation away from the center of the government. It was changed to Brasilia in 1960. Brasilia is a planned city with the format of an airplane. It was built with the intention of being the new capital of my country. However, I guess you could say that Rio is the touristic capital of Brazil, as there lies some of the most known Brazilian places, as the Maracana Stadium, the Sugarloaf, and of course Christ, the Redeemer. Taking into account the economic aspects, you could easily take Sao Paulo as the economic capital. Here you can find the headquarters of many important Brazilian companies, as well as the biggest business center and the most prominent stock market in Brazil. Okay, so here you have someone from Brazil. Of course, it's been Brasilia all his life, unless he were born before 1960. Where in my time, no, I don't want to say timeline. How I remember it, it was clearly not. I was gonna say Canberra, Brasilia. It was, of course, as this person here is asking, Rio de Janeiro. And here is now where this will be more noticeable that some changes, that something's off. Because when you search for Brazil capital city, you will find almost only Rio de Janeiro. And you see this huge city and this awesome statue, and you know, just the feeling of this is of course the capital city. But then you see Brasilia in the middle to the left, and okay, so you mean oh man, isn't that a level down? Or I don't know, well, some could argue, you know, that's the nature, it's beautiful. It's more beautiful than the city, and so on. However, in our world today, we have capitals that are huge cities in the richer countries and everything like that. So it's so strange. It's like I would wake up and Stockholm wouldn't be Sweden's capital, and like they moved the capital city up to the northest part of Sweden where we have trees and trees and trees, and it's so weird. Anyway, let's go on. So just as strange but easy that capital cities have changed, you know, that's just calling something else. The next thing I want to show you is all from a channel called Lone Eagle. Once again, I will give you all the links below. You will see that it is not only words that have changed, words over a map that have changed, but also our very land masses. Okay, let's have a watch here.
Good day, everybody. This is Lone Eagle 112358. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it so very, very, very much. I really do. So again, I was doing homework and I'm scrolling through my bookmarks because I'm looking for a particular link I needed to study through, and I came across a video I linked because I wanted to make a video on it, and I pulled it up. I'm like, oh yeah, the sunset. Now, before I get into that, I made a video, let's see, when was this? November 21st, 2016, about the Northern Hemisphere and how in the video I'm describing, I'll just quickly go over it again quickly. I'm describing about how the North, there used to be an ice cap here, whether it's landmass or not. A lot of people are 50-50 on that, but irrelevant. But there used to be a larger space here. Like, these continents used to be further apart from each other, and there used to be like a nice chunk of ice or land. And I just know that these continents, like the top of Russia probably was around here more, and the top of Canada was probably around here more. But give a listen to this video here. I explain everything I feel about it and how I theorize about on it. And the reason why I made that video was because it changed the sun trajectory, or the sun, sorry, I'm terrible at saying that word, I gotta keep saying it, but the trajectory, maybe it stayed the same, but because our continents moved further north, like I say in the video, like here, I'll take a look here again. So you see the U.S. border. Well, for me, the U.S. border used to be down here more, you know. So either the sun moved or we moved, and I'm saying we moved because I know that the continents, the Russia and Canada, used to be further apart, and there used to be this big sheet of ice in the middle. I'm gonna get a lot of flack from that from people who are from this timeline, and that's fine. I agree with you that there never used to be a big gap like that, okay? That's not what this is about. But in that video, in this one, Northern Hemisphere, I talk about how the sun moved and how I had to change. Well, I didn't have to change really. I got to add more vegetables to my garden because I got a lot more sun during the day. I have this huge white pine in my backyard. It's the largest tree in eastern Canada or North America. It's a huge tree. Now the sun's going around it. Awesome. I was so happy, and someone had mentioned it in one of the YouTube videos. I can't find it now. I tried looking for it, but I couldn't find it. But and my brain just immediately clicked. I agreed immediately, because as the summer went on, like late July, even throughout July, I was seeing the sun on my patio in places I'd never seen it before. I was like, as if, because my backyard's facing north. I have a big backyard, but the patio is right against the house, so you never got sun there. But now half the patio is lit up, and it never used to be lit up like that. I can now put plants there at the end of my patio. I couldn't do that before. I had to put shade plants. Now I could put sun plants there, you know? It's so weird. So as the summer went by, you know, it was around August, mid-August or late August. We were at the beach, and I took some photos of the sun setting, because while we were there, I was like, man, I think the sun is setting somewhere else, and I know where the sun used to set at this beach we used to go, that we do go to actually. It's called Britannia Beach. I'll just show you where it is here. In Ottawa. It's in the West End. So it's this beach right here. I mean, we were sitting here. I'm about to show you. Okay, right here, right in front of these rocks, right there. These pictures I took, and you're gonna see something. Okay, so first off, when I got a new computer 2 months ago, and I transferred all my files over, like, for my new viewers, I'm terrible with computers. Like, it's oil and water. I don't know what I'm doing. I tried to do it all on my own this time, because I usually get, you know, my brother or somebody else, a good friend of mine, to do it. But I'm like, no, I'm gonna do it. But this drive right here, local disk E drive, it says it's 111 gigabytes. It's not. It's like 300. Okay, I can't open the other half. Now it's partitioned or something like that. I don't know. Haven't bothered looking for it yet because of too much school, and it's just not that important yet. But somewhere in those hidden files, I can't find it, are these videos of us being at the beach in mid-August. Okay, and I was recording it, and the whole time I'm freaking out because I'm like, oh my god, the sun is setting way off to the right. Like, I couldn't believe it, because we've been going to this beach for years, like 8 years. Like, I've been going to this beach for 20 years, but regularly for 5 years since we moved to this area. But I know where the sun used to set. Okay, the only thing I could find were 4 pictures of that day, and the best one is this one here, and I'm so glad I have this one. So I take these pictures, and I'm freaking out, right? I have the videos for it. I really wish I could find it. I will be finding them soon once I get off school and I have more time to play on my computer, but this picture is perfect. So I'm freaking out at the beach. I'm like, oh my god, don't you see it? Nope, nobody else saw it. They're like, nah, that's setting right. I'm like, as if you guys are so blind. And by this time we're at the beach. I've already confirmed that, like, all the You know, the shade is different in my backyard. The sun has moved. I'm reading about it online. I don't have a channel yet, you know, so I haven't been able to talk to people about it, but I'm all alone in this world at this time for months. You know, the sun's moved. But the sun didn't move. The continents moved. So, here, I'll just show you. Now, I went home, and the first thing I did is I Googled Britannia Beach, sunset, anything like that. Did anybody put anything like that online? And thank God somebody did, and that's where this Britannia Beach, Ottawa, YouTube. And this person came in here, posted this up August 11th, so the same time I went to the beach, but this was 2 years ago. And I know it's the summertime because there's people all around, like they're wearing their summer clothes. I can see it in the video. You know, some people they dress fully, but you know, I know this is summer, late summer anyway. Don't mean to flash this guy's face everywhere, but whatever. So I get home, I pull up this video, and I'm like, yes. This is amazing. So you see the sun setting here? This is an inlet, like this is land and the water wraps around there. I'll show you on the map in a minute. But here, this is where I was freaking out. I'm like, no, the sun used to set over here, and I was swearing to God up and down everywhere. And I wish the people who are here can attest to that, but they're not. But I'm going to find that video. I guarantee you in a couple months, you're going to find that video and you're going to hear me. And it's right here. The sun was setting right where my mouse is. Right? I rush home. I pull up this video and there it is. Boom. The sun's setting right there. And I was so happy that these people made a video on the sun setting. Now, I know some of you are going to be like, oh, this could be any time of the year. I know. There's nothing I can do about that other than I swear to God. Like, I'm just going off, but like she uploaded it August 11th. Doesn't mean it was filmed August 9th, 10th, or 11th, you know, maybe a week before that. This could have been filmed in July or early spring, but there's leaves on the trees around, you know. Let's go back here. You know, like this shrubs have leaves on them, you know. And so this is the same time, man, I'm telling you. She probably recorded this a week or on that same day. You know what people like doing. They like making videos and going online, then posting it. I'm telling you. That's so funny, August 11th, because I think that's the day I went to Arizona. That's so funny. I gotta look that up later. Anyway, look at that. The sun is setting there, and it's setting here. Okay? And you guys are like, well, it's moved over that whole time. I'm like, no, it didn't, because I have these other pictures. Look, see, that's the sun. It's pulling away. There's the tip. Hold on. You can see the tip of this part right here. You see? This is land right there coming down. Then it stops because the water wraps around on the other side. Well, here's the tip of it. So, I mean, it's just setting right there. It's not going to slide all the way over. Okay? So, guys, I'm telling you, that's residue right there. Like, that's the old sun. That's the old sun setting right there. Like, man, I'm so happy to have seen this and remembered that. I'm so happy to have been doing my homework and seen that bookmark I left there. I only have 4 pictures for now, but this is the sun continuing to set. And the weird thing about it, that it wasn't done setting there. In the picture I showed you, it kept setting way over here. Like, I think it was finally setting right around here. You could see the tip. It's like pulling away. The sun was pulling away right about there. And I was just freaking out the whole time. We stayed the whole time and we recorded. I zoomed in right at the last spot, to the very last speck of the sun. Anyway, I'm just excited right now because I saw that and I'm like, yes! Because I just found this file with all these sun pictures on it the other day and I just remembered, and I'm on a roll here, cleaning my house and doing homework, and I was like, I can make a 20-minute video quickly. So, Anyway, there you go, guys. You know, check out this video, Northern Hemisphere. I talk about the continent shifting up. I have a little theory on that, and the North Pole just disappearing out of nowhere, and these two continents shifting up in the middle to meet. That's why the sun moved or is in a different trajectory. That's why you see the sun setting different. Okay, look at that. So I'll show you where that is. So we're standing right here, and that's where that bump. Hold on. Okay, so we're standing right here. That guy that was talking, he's probably right around here. In the guy's picture, the sun was setting here. You see the Milky Way, and then in my picture, the sun was setting here. Now I'll show you where this is. West End, Ottawa. So, sorry guys, had to change mouses for a while, and I got this old crusty, you know, the mouse or the mice or the computer parts are like beige color. That's the cheap ass mouse I'm running with. So that inlet I'm talking about, you see the water, the land, well, this is it, and the water wraps around, and then the sun is setting over here somewhere. So like that. Boom, boom. It's like that, boom. There you go. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys have any old pictures of the sunset in your area? Here's something. This is why I want to make this video. Find old pictures of the sunset. This is obvious residue. Like, I don't even know what else to say. The sunsets almost look identical. That means nothing, by the way. Just saying. Keep an eye on the sun. Oh, here's another thing why I wanted to make this video. I've been noticing that it's bright out still. It's like 7 o'clock. It's like March 15th. I don't know. It just seems a little bright for this time of year, for it to still be dark. Even though we did have daylight savings with an S. Daylight savings time. Anyway, the other point I wanted to make out was like last year, when I was freaking out all about the Mandela and the sun setting in a different spot and everything like that, and no one was listening to me. It was right around the longest day of the year, and it was like a day or two after that. And we were in the backyard, we had a barbecue, we had friends over, everybody left, and we're just in the backyard having a beer, looking up at the sky. And I could still see part of the blue sky with sun in it. Like in the west, where I was just showing you like this, but like really dark, but still I could still see the sun. And I'm like not the sun, not the actual physical sun, but the light from the sun, and way far away. And I'm like, what time is it? She's like, it's 10:30. I'm like, what? And I was like, Mandela, I was like, how am I still seeing the blue sky at 10:30 at night? And even she at the time, who wasn't seeing anything, even she was like, yeah, that's weird. I will admit, that is really weird. And it takes a lot to impress some of my friends and people I know. So I wanted to bring that up because there was a week during that whole summer last year where the sun was out until at least 10:15, 10:30. And I don't mean the sun like right here, like the sun was setting at 10:15, 10:30, but I mean I could still see part of the blue sky. And I've never seen that before. 9:30 max, quarter to 10 maybe. But why was I paying attention then? Like, no, but not 10:30. 10:30 is insane. It should be pitch dark by then. And that's something I want you guys to pay attention to this summer. So put on your calendar, please. I'm going to remind everybody around then that this summer I'm ready for the sun. I am so ready. And I'm going to, anyway, pay attention to that. Or let me know if you've noticed that too. Please leave a comment. Anyway, back to homework. Thank you for paying attention. Let me know what you think on this sun setting. And I know I'm going to get a lot of flack on this about this person uploading this video and when she did it. I may send her a message. Actually, I will. And when I find the other video, I'll make a part 2. I'll call this part 1, and I'll make a part 2 later on, maybe early summer. All right, cool. So let me know what you guys think on this residue. Hey, I promise you, I love you guys. I wouldn't lie like this. I could be mistaken. That's different, but the only reason why I'm making this video is because I'm really sure of this, you know. 95, you know, I'll give room for error. I'm always like that, you know. But 95 is really high for me, and guys, so I wouldn't lie. Let me know what you guys think on this. But anyway, thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned. I'm making more videos next week. I got so much to talk about. I have this little sheet on my wall with topics, and I'm going through them one by one. Anyway, love yourself. I love you, and love your neighbor. Lone Eagle 112358. Peace.
Okay, so as you saw, land masses has either changed size or location, or even both. Who knows? Because as you probably know, or may not know, I don't know, but I do know that the north see what I did there? The north is still at the north, and the south is still on the outer, and the sun circles above and still does what it does. Okay, so if you see your sun setting at another location than you were used to, then okay, then your landmasses has moved. And I also mentioned the Volvo logo, and the one you are staring at was the Volvo logo my dad's car had when I was a kid. This is the 1978 logo, but it's missing what it has today, which is the arrow. And when I found that out, it was a while ago, when I found that out, that okay, the Volvo cars now have an arrow. I mean, I just thought that the company, the Volvo logo, that they just simply upgraded the logo in some way. However, I wonder, how is it an upgrade? Is it pointing out the masculine side of this world, or is it a tale of some sort? It's exactly the same as with the Ford logo. The bottom logo here is the one I remember. The upper one, it got a pig's twist on it. And remember this, I grew up in Sweden, where everybody had either Volvo or Ford as a car. And not only that, but my best friend, which he was the guy I hang around with and at his place all the time, he had the actual logos that they attach to the cars themselves. The actual logos of Volkswagen, Ford, Volvo, he had them all. I've held them in my hands and watched them and felt them. I thought it was pretty cool actually that he had them, and I remember them not as they are today, but as I have shown you. But anyway, let's leave the logos here and go on to the next one. And this is a clip from ZeroSister. I will leave the links, remember. And yeah, I was kind of touched by this video since it's very frightening to her, and you will see this is very odd and very strange, and I feel she's genuine, you know. She's really troubled by the Mandela Effect. And I think this is what sparkled the idea. You know, I want to show you people what I find, the things I find that sticks out or are very in your face or very obvious or very strange, whatever. I want to share them with you. And I as well as I am mirroring some videos, I felt that because Mandela Effect, it's very an emotional thing. It's a very spiritual thing to go through and to realize. So I felt that, like I said, being my first own Mandela Effect video here on YouTube, I felt that I had to get together what I thought was one of, well, several of the best findings, even though there's plenty of, it would be too long. I thought this clip wouldn't become this long, so I'm sorry for that, but I feel it's very urgent that I show you all of this and made this clip, this video for you the way I did. So without further ado, I have work to go to as well and pause my editing, but you won't notice that. I just told you anyway, since time is something strange, illusional, whatever. Let's go on with ZeroSister's video, and I will collaborate on everything from this video at the very, very end, because there's so much beauty coming from knowing about Mandela Effect. We don't have to be frightened. We don't have to be scared. And since we cannot really see when the change is gonna come or where it's gonna be, we can't do anything about it, like that. But as I said, I will give my entire collaboration, opinion, whatever, how I see on things. Let's watch this now.
I know I haven't been on here in a while. This Mandela Effect is affecting me big time. And I'm almost having trouble functioning. And I know that there's something happening with me, and I know others have spoke about it. I don't have anything to prove, that I'm being affected majorly. And I really don't know what to do about this. I'm just pretty much staying low and trying to, I'm pretty much existing at this point. And everything around me is changing to the point where I actually got a photograph to prove the change that I'm dealing with. I wanted to tell you about a dream I had about a month ago, and this pertains to it. I woke up, this was a dream. I woke up in the morning and in my house, and I started to walk toward the living room. And when I did, I looked out the window and I noticed I'm in a strange town, a very strange town. And the road I live on was a 2-lane highway. It was kind of busy, bumper, cars going, very noisy, loud. The town was kind of shabby and run down. I didn't like it. And when I looked out the picture window, I said, oh, I don't like this. I don't like this one bit. And with that, I said, something has changed. And I just kept on saying how I don't like this, I don't like this. And I looked out my backyard, and it was nothing like it is now. And it was like there was a road in the back, a street. And my yard was real small. And I just hated it. And I just woke up out of the dream, but it was so intense. It's like so vivid in my mind what it all looked like. Maybe I can get a couple pictures that kind of resemble what I saw. So I knew that it was kind of a Mandela effect. I went into this realm. I don't want to go back there, wherever that is. And I know the Holy Spirit's trying to show me something. And so, I just kind of forgot about the dream, although I keep on thinking about it. And finally, a couple of days ago, my husband, who knows nothing about the Mandela Effect, comes in and says, "Come and look out this back window. Did you ever see this house so close to us?" And as soon as he said that, I jumped up and ran to the back in the dining room and looked out the window. And I never saw that house in our backyard. Never. I knew there was a house way over on the other road that you kind of can see vaguely, like that if they leave a light on in their backyard. That's all. But I had no idea. Well, I went there. I saw the whole house. I mean, just like it's sitting there right in our backyard. And I'm flipping. And of course, my husband doesn't want any part of anything strange like that. He can't deal with it, and most people can't. I told my sister about it. She can't deal with it either. They don't want to talk about it. So I took my camera and I just pointed it out the window, and I went through the window to get it, because as things are, I thought it could disappear right before my eyes. So I took it as quick as I could, and this is what it looked like. Now, do you see the house there? It's clear that there's a house back there, right? Well, then, a few hours later, I didn't want to look out that window again. But I said, I gotta. And I looked out, the house is gone. It probably went back where it originally was. But when that happened, I'm thinking, yeah, there's something really going on with me. I mean, I know there's others, but when you can actually take pictures of something like that and see it happening right before your eyes, if you don't think that that's something weird, and it makes you feel so, I just feel real insecure because there's no truth about it, and there's something going on, and it's affecting my life. I feel really drained, and I don't know if we're just supposed to go to sleep right now. Well, you guys, let me know what you think. I'm going to be trying to make more movies, but I'm going to tell you right now, someone does not want me here. There are things happening, and I'll get into it. Very, very strange things. And all I'm going to say is, before I leave, to the people that are kind of don't have my best interests in hand, I know you're trying to be friends, but I can see right through you. You think the Holy Spirit isn't talking to me? I mean, so I'm just telling you, you're not fooling the Holy Spirit. And I am going to get the information. So, well, I hope you enjoyed that. And I'll come out with another video. I have some questions people have asked me, and I'm going to just answer them make a list of these questions and post the answers. There's really a lot going on, guys. So hope you can take care, and hope you're not suffering.
My next clip is from a Swedish sister, actually, so that's pretty cool. And she's written a book, and she talks about changes in Mandela Effect. And if you haven't heard her name yet or know about her, I really suggest you go to her and watch her videos and everything. I like to hear her speak, and yeah, just see this. This is Cynthia Sue Larson.
Hello, this is Cynthia Sue Larson with RealityShifters.com, and I'd love to talk with you about the Mandela Effect and the fact that this goes way farther back than most people realize. In fact, I'd like to invite you to think about your earliest experiences with the Mandela Effect as you're watching this video. And even later, if later you realize, wow, I just thought of another one, come on back and leave a comment, because I'd love to hear about it. Or send me an email. As you might realize, I've been tracking this phenomenon since the late 1990s. When I first published a book, the original version of this book, Reality Shifts, When Consciousness Changes the Physical World, and I talked about the alive again phenomenon, mentioning a famous actor who some people may or may not remember, but basically I'd heard that he died and passed away, and then later saw that he was alive again. So if you saw the TV show Dallas and Who Shot JR, then you might remember Larry Hagman played that character. But this is for real. This is Larry Hagman himself. And I was blown away by the fact that I saw him alive again. And I know for sure he died before I wrote that book in the 1990s. So now I'd like us to think about even earlier experiences. Because when I think back to the 1970s, I can clearly remember a time when I had heard a song so many times on the radio that I'd gotten tired of it. You know how you can get kind of sick of a song. And then they stopped playing it altogether. So I started missing the song, ironically, the one I had started getting tired of hearing. But then I couldn't find it on any of the radio stations anywhere. And I looked, I kept changing the dial, nothing. So I gave it up, stopped thinking about it. Several months went by. And then there it was. And the radio station announcers were proudly saying, this is the first time we've played this song, this brand new song, that kind of thing. And I was really mystified because it didn't make any sense to me how they could be saying that this was a brand new song when I had heard it so many times so long ago, and then there'd been a complete break in their playing it. So if you have similar memories such as this, and other people write to me telling me that they, for example, have read a book that didn't exist yet, and then they went to go find the book, they can't find it. Similar things have happened with magazines and TV shows, where people know for sure that they've seen a TV show that there's no way they could have seen at that period in time. And so when you think about these kind of things, then you might notice, as I have, that some of these experiences go back, in my case, to the 1970s, and that tells us that this Mandela Effect has been with us for quite a while, and perhaps even farther back than the CERN laboratory. That's what I tend to believe is true, and I'll tell you why. As I've been researching this phenomenon, it's come to my attention that a lot of us assume that quantum phenomena and weirdness, that spooky action at a distance kind of weirdness, superposition of states kind of weirdness, that only exists under the rug, under the von Neumann cut. That if it's a certain scale of size, that then it can be quantum if it's small enough, and if it's over a certain size level, then of course classical physics applies and we can ignore quantum effects. What I'm proposing is perhaps we can't ignore quantum effects, and that this Mandela effect is bigger than we thought. And it's actually not requiring any kind of conspiracy theory, because when you take a look at the way, for example, like this song that I remember in the 70s, and if you look even further back, such as examples of misrememberings, and you can do all kinds of Google Scholar searches. In fact, you can look at my articles, use Google Scholar, type in Cynthia Sue Larson, and you'll see that I've written articles on the primacy of quantum logic in the natural world. And that's what I'm referring to here, that actually when you look at quantum logic being the primary thing, that there's actually no return to classical logic, as one researcher said. I love that. Then you know that we can start looking for historical examples. Maybe we can find examples in movies like Casablanca that came out in 1942. Some people actually remember that Humphrey Bogart's character said, "Play it again, Sam." If you watch the movie now, at least as far as I know, it's still this way, you won't see any reference and any inclusion of that dialogue in the entire movie. And so this is an invitation then for all of us, as we recognize that thinking and asking yourself, what are your earliest Mandela Effect memories? What are the earliest examples of something being a little bit off that you noticed? Pay attention, pay closer attention. And thanks to the internet, we can now come together and share some of our experiences. We don't expect that everyone's going to agree with us. In fact, we expect quite the opposite. You might have heard of Stephen Hawking, the famous physicist. He co-authored a paper with Thomas Hertog back in 2006 about top-down cosmology. And I love the quote that Thomas Hertog included. I think I've got it here somewhere. Yes, quantum mechanics forbids a single history. So that in itself isn't that shocking, but then when you put that together with the observation that I am making that quantum physics can't be swept under the rug, that quantum logic and quantum phenomena absolutely are occurring at every level of reality, then you start recognizing just how big this Nelson Mandela effect really is. So I'd like you to keep thinking about early examples as you continue to ask my favorite question, which is, how good can it get? Especially when you're looking at shifting realities, the Mandela effect is really important. So as you ask yourself, I wonder what else could have changed, what else have I noticed, and how good can it get when I notice these things, then you'll have, as I've experienced, better results in terms of finding things and also having good experiences in general. So until next time, this is Cynthia Sue Larson, and again inviting you to keep asking that question pretty much in any time in your life, whether things are going good, bad, or just middling. How good can it get? Take care.
So, reality check. What's happening? I tell you what's happening. A shift. Huge changes are coming. Massive changes. This, what I have shown you right here, this is nothing compared to the changes that will start to come. If you do not see these changes, if you are living in this realm and coming from this realm, or whatever you want to call it, but I call it that way so you probably understand what I mean. If you don't see the changes, then it means you are adopting the changes. You are becoming the changes, so you don't see the changes. Your conscious mind. Because what we see, what you see and hear and feel, all of that is controlled and experienced within your own mind. What does that tell us? That tells us that our own minds are making this reality for what it is. And so many of us remember a completely different reality than what's being shown here today, right now, in this moment. And not only that, these changes are coming every week. They are keep coming. The first time I heard about Mandela Effect was shortly after the flat earth. So I've known and heard about it over 2 years ago. The key to feel comfortable knowing these changes are coming and happening without your control is actually a tool given from God, showing you the proof with your own senses within your own mind, experienced on the outside, manifesting on the outside or changing on the outside of your reality, which I see as a very, very good thing. If I have the eyes to see these changes, then I am not under the hypnosis, the mind control. I know I am free from that because I do see things that others don't. But I know I'm not alone. I'm not special in that way, but I know I am special. I do know that. I hope you do too, because everybody is special. We are all special. That's the thing. That's the beauty with this. That's what I meant. I will upgrade. I am upgrading. I am becoming awake. Because I am allowing God to pour His energies into me with all His wisdom, love, understanding. I feel calm. I even laugh at these things now. I cried my heart out the first time when I really spent time the first night looking into this. I was freaked out. Not a pleasant thing. And one should not be freaked out, but on the other hand, I came to realize that, But that is why I'm telling you, you can also realize it. Or if you don't see these things, if you're just gonna come with a bad attitude, or you just can't see it, without any attitude, you just feel that, no, I don't know what you're talking about with all of this, it's so strange to me, then I am sorry, and I will pray for you, because I want people to see it, because the more of us that see this will, within the very soul, the very core of your soul, you will realize things, that the love is more important, that the now is more important, that whatever happens on the outside of of your temple, outside of your cranium, outside of your mind, it has no real connection to your psyche, or how I should put it, you know? It's like if you're dead, you wouldn't need clothes, or you know, it has no real value. On the other hand, connections does have value, and you know, feelings does have value, but those feelings are brought to you from your own mind based on the experience you are having, which you are either allowing yourself to be in, or that another mind is causing you to experience. And if this occasion makes you experience whatever, if it's good or if it's bad, then it's a sign from above or below of things you need to realize. Well, the above will always show you what you need to realize, but the below will always try to drag you down, make you confused, make you scared, because you won't know things for sure. I guess what I'm really trying to do here for everybody that doesn't see this, it's like describing a color to a blind person, or love to a sociopath or something. I don't know. That's why I would pray for you. And this video became very, very long, but this was the bottom line of everything that I showed to you, because it will continue to change. As I said, things will get very changed. I hope you wake up. I hope you feel God. I hope God makes you see and feel and know in your heart. You are beautiful. So, think beautiful, be beautiful, positive, have hope and faith, regardless of what will come, regardless, come whatever may. Put the armor of God onto you. Remember to check the caption for the links. Remember to subscribe and like and comment. Maybe share experiences or Mandela effects. I know plenty of people are seeing this. And thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for sticking out. Oh my god, this video became so long. It was not my intention, but you know, as I gradually worked on it, I just felt in my heart I had to do this. And I know the negative or haters, they won't be sticking around until this very end, but I know you're real, genuine, curious, loving, caring, awesome people. I know you will, and I thank you so much for it. But in the end, this was made for you. All I do here is for you. Well, sometimes it helps me too, you know, like my posts and everything, because I am also human. I try to live as I learn, so when I do things and post things and upload stuff, it's also for me to remember and know, you know. We're all in this together. We are. Might as well make the best out of it, you know. Let's be on that love boat or love train or whatever. Leave those negative, fear-mongered, scared, hateful. Well, scared. We should help each other, you know, but the ones that clearly doesn't want to change themselves or their minds or anything, well, let's just leave them be where they can be. And we go on and just being awesome. Because if you want to save our world, you need to free your mind. Libertas?